Have you ever gone through a season where it felt like God was silent? No answers, no clarity, just silence. Luke chapter 1 begins after 400 years of silence, and yet it opens with a miracle. Let's walk through it together. Hello, amigos, welcome back to my channel. For newbies, I'm Jessy Rose. This is your safe space to walk with God in the middle of messy, chaotic life. Today, we are starting something sacred, a chapter by chapter study of the Gospel of Luke, and it starts with one of the most emotional, dramatic, and raw openings in the whole New Testament. Let's rewind. The Old Testament ends with the book of Malachi, and then nothing for 400 years. No prophets, no angelic visitations, just plain silence. Luke breaks that silence with the cry of a baby. But before the baby is born, the story begins with a priest and a prayer. Luke is the only gospel writer who wasn't a Jew. He was a Gentile and a doctor. And I love this about him. He wasn't writing because someone asked him to do. He says in verse 3, he carefully investigated everything from the beginning. Luke is talking to a guy named Theophilus, and he wants him to feel secure, solid certainty about what he believes. And honestly, that speaks to me because we live in a world where faith can feel like a roller coaster. But Luke is saying, I'm giving you an orderly account. No hype, no chaos, just clarity. So, if you ever felt you need something concrete to anchor your faith, this book is for you. Luke says, I wanted to give you certainty. Not hype, not emotion, just certainty. Let that word sit with you for a sec. Now, we meet Zachariah and Elizabeth. He is a priest and she is a descendant of Aaron. So both of them come from a respectful, holy lineages. And verse 6 says clearly, both of them are righteous and blameless before God. But verse 7 immediately says they were childless. And now they were well advanced in years. That shook me because sometimes you can be faithful and still feel forgotten. They had done everything right, checked all the spiritual boxes, but still no child. In Jewish culture, not having a child is not just emotionally painful, it's also socially shameful. It was assumed that if you are not having any child, that means God is punishing you. Can you imagine all the whispers they faced? Serving in the temple, leading others, but inside they're grieving. Honestly, I felt that tension too. When you're showing up publicly but privately wondering, why God? Why not me? That's why I love this part of Luke chapter 1 because it's the proof that God sees the unseen ache. Maybe you are there too, waiting, wondering why your faith hasn't worked. Their story is for you. Okay, now it gets wild because while Zechariah is doing his temple duty, boom, an angel appears. Not just any angel, but it's Gabriel. That's like heaven's top tier messenger. And what does Gabriel say? Do not be afraid, your prayer has been heard. I want to pause right there because that line is not in the present tense, but it's in the past tense. Your prayer has been heard. That means Zechariah had probably stopped praying. Maybe he got too tired. Maybe he thought it was too late. Maybe he prayed too long that the desire faded away. But God didn't forget. Even when Zechariah gave up on the prayer, God held on to the promise. That part got me real quiet. not gonna lie. And then Gabriel continued, not only you're having a son, but your son is going to be the one who prepares the way for the Lord. It ain't just a baby. It's John the Baptist, the one Isaiah prophesied about. Imagine the whiplash in Zachariah's brain. He went from mundane temple's duty to heaven's biggest news flash. And side note, love how God breaks silence with intimacy, not with fire from heaven, but with the conversation in a quiet temple. God still speaks in silence. Sometimes the holiest moments come when no one is watching. Now this part. Oof. Zachariah responds in verse 18. How can I be sure of this? I'm an old man. And Gabriel is, Sir, I'm Gabriel. I stand in the presence of God. The sass, the divine sass is real here. But here's where it gets serious. Gabriel says, because you didn't believe, you will be silent till it happens. And suddenly, Zachariah, a man of God, a priest, is stuck silent. This hit me because sometimes doubts doesn't disqualify you, it quiets you. Zachariah still got the promise, but he missed out on declaring it, sharing it, in fact, celebrating it with his voice. He had to go on mute for 9+ months. Sometimes the consequence of unbelief is a pause in our praise. And meanwhile, verse 24 says, Elizabeth became pregnant and stayed in seclusion for 5 months. And in verse 25, she says, the Lord has done this for me. He has shown his favor and taken away my disgrace. There's something so healing about this moment because even though Zechariah doubted, Elizabeth still received the miracle. God didn't let one person's doubt cancel other person's promise. And her words, they are so emotional. She says, God removed her disgrace. This wasn't just physical healing, it was emotional restoration. Sometimes when God answers, He heals the things that we don't even know that were broken. Yeah, this chapter is a lot, but we're only just getting started. Let's keep going with verse 26 onward. The angel visits Mary next, and it's a whole other dimension of faith. But for today, if you have ever felt like God is silent, maybe He's setting a stage for something sacred. Wait with hope, rest in His time, trust that your prayer has been heard. This Bible study touched you, share it with a friend. Let's study all the 24 chapters together, one Friday at a time. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busiest schedule and watching till here. I'm guessing you liked this content. If so, please let me know by giving this video a big fat thumbs up and commenting here so I know you are the real one. Click on that share button to improve my traffic and subscribe to give me motivation to do more of these videos. And hit on the bell icon so that you will know that your motivation worked. I'll see you soon in my next video. Until then, stay blessed, stay happy. Bye-bye.